Shana Tova. What do you talk about in Rosh Hashanah? What is Rosh Hashanah really even about? It's a big question, isn't it? Why are we here? Are you here because you just want to check it off, as one person said? Your spiritual resume checklist. Okay, I did that this year. Are you here out of guilt? Why are we here? What do we talk about? You know, last night we were talking about mirrors and reflection. There's a Hasidic story, but it's more than a story. There's a wealthy Jew, and if you go to his home, if he invites you, you can. You will see in his home this really huge mirror. This big, beautiful mirror with gold. It's just gorgeous. And what's interesting about it is in the very corner, there's an area where the silver on the back of the mirror has been scraped off. And you can see through it like glass. And if you ask this very wealthy Jew who gives a lot to philanthropy, by the way, and you ask him, what is that about? He will tell you what it's about. I don't want to do that. You need to know the story. There was a man named Avraham. Avraham was this really sweet, nice guy. Married, nice man, not much money, didn't even have carpets on the floors. But he always was kind to me. He owned a store, didn't do such great business, but he always was kind to people. He would come, and he would always talk with them. Often people would come to talk to him in his store, then they'd go to another store to go buy what they wanted to buy. It didn't matter. He gave charity to the poor, both with his money and with his time. He gave 10% or more to the shul where he was on a regular basis. It just was this real mensch, this really good guy. As my grandma, God rest her soul, said, he had a Hamisha household. And one day, a Rebbe is walking through. Now, he doesn't know he's a Rebbe, he just sees he's a Jew, an observant Jew. And he says, would you like to come, I see you're a traveler, would you like to come have a meal at my house? And so this Rebbe, who happened to be this great Hasidic mystic actually, came to his home and he invites him and talks to him. It's just so warm and friendly, knowing nothing about who this guy is. He just is, that's the kind of guy he is. Well, the end of the day comes. Abraham says, well, spend the night. Just spend the night. You can take our bedroom, we'll sleep on the couch. Just it's important to be hospitable. And he's so kind, knowing nothing about this rabbi. And he spends the night. And in the morning, this Rebbe comes to him and he says, thank you for your kindness. I bless you. May you be blessed with great parnassah, with great prosperity. All of a sudden, things get a little different. People start coming to his store and he starts selling things. He starts selling a lot of things. He starts doing so well, he's got to buy a bigger store. He starts doing so well, he buys a bigger house. But with bigger house and bigger store comes bigger problems. Right? And so he's got to worry, are my salesmen cheating me? Are they being honest? Do I have enough time? He starts buying things for his big, beautiful home. Gorgeous bakar rugs from all over the world. And all sorts of silver and candlesticks. Little silver candlesticks that he'd had forever. Now they're these big, beautiful things for Shabbos. And his special prize is he buys this huge mirror that's surrounded with this big gold frame, a mirror like you'd see in Versailles. But you know what? He's so worried about everything going on in his life. Guess what? He doesn't have a lot of time to do goodness anymore. I mean, he still does charity. Someone comes and says, hey, I need some charity. They tell that to his assistant. His assistant tells that to his secretary. He says, go ahead and write the check. And the secretary writes the check. He never even sees the poor person anymore. He's too busy. A few years later, a chassid comes to his home. a disciple of that Rebbe, comes to his home and says, he's heard about him, and he comes and he says, I'd like to speak with Avram. Well, Mr. Avram's not available. What do you need? Well, we're looking for some charity. Write down how much you would like. We're happy to give it to you. We have seats back here, by the way. And so he says, we'll give you the charity, but he doesn't have time to talk. Well, after talking for a while, this chassid explains to him that it was his rabbi who had blessed Abraham in the beginning for parnasa, for prosperity. And Abraham comes out, it's so nice to meet you. Please tell your rabbi hello for me. I got to get back to work. Here's a check. When the chassid comes back to the Rebbe, he says to him, you told me this was such a holy man, and yes, he gave charity, but he didn't even treat me like a human being. He didn't treat me like a real person. The Rebbe was very disappointed and traveled himself to Abraham, which when he came and he got there, at first he was given the, can't talk to him from the secretary, but then when they realized who he was, they let him in, and Abraham sat with him. Oh, it's so good to see you, it's so good to see you. Let's take just a couple minutes because I got a meeting later on. The Rebbe looked at him and said, you've done pretty well. Oh yes, really, really well. Everything is beautiful. In fact, look at it, especially this big, beautiful mirror. Isn't that amazing? The Rebbe says, yeah, it's amazing what's happened to you. He says, Abraham, come here, Abraham. Come out to the window. Come look at the window for me. And so Abraham looks down, he looks through this window, and the Rebbe says, who's that? He says, well, that's Moshe, the water carrier. His sister Hanala, she was sick last year, but I hear she got a little bit better. Abraham, the Rebbe says, who's that over there? That's Shana. Shana's been trying to get married, I think before I was born. She claims she's still 39. I'm not so sure. But she's got a sweetheart, a heart of gold. It's just, it just has never worked out. Who's that over there? He says, that's Yaakov. Don't tell anyone that's Yaakov the Ganav. Fabulous thief, he thinks. We all know he's a thief, but we'll let him get away with it because he's a nice guy. He says, turn around, please. Abraham, what do you see in that mirror? He goes, that mirror? That's the most beautiful mirror in the world. I see myself in it. He says, what else do you see? He says, I see all my possessions, how beautiful everything is. And he says, so you see yourself alone with your possessions. But when you looked through the window, you saw all your friends. The clear glass that did not have silver on the background. You saw your friends in your community that you've forgotten about. Abraham looks at him. He says, I got so caught up in the silver behind the mirror, and in the mirror, I forgot that it prevents God's light from shining through. I can only see what is reflected back to me. That's not okay, is that it? Rabbi shrugged. He said, is that who you are at your heart? Is that who you want to be? Is that who you want to be in the world? He said, no. Thank you, my Rebbe. He kissed him. And the next night, Abraham had a party where he invited everyone, especially the poor people, and he gave them charity, and more importantly, he gave them his time. And he said, I will always be available for you. I will always be accessible to you. And to remind himself never to get lost in that again, he took a corner of that mirror, which is now in this very wealthy Jew's home, and he went on the back with a knife and he shaved off all the silver. The idea being that even when he looks at it, he remembers to look through it, and that he can be looked through. And he returned to who he really is. It's a great Rosh Hashanah story, isn't it? Because we forget. We get caught up and we forget. We forget what's important. We forget what our values are. We forget the magic that we had as a child, the goals and the dreams. As we get too caught up, First in paying the mortgage, and then in having savings, and then in what do I need to do for this? And there's a line from the movie All That Jazz. He says he got so good at the game he forgot he was playing it. Every now and then, Hollywood actually does something right. This year they did. There's a great tzaddik, a great righteous, wise person who was an expert on this concept of losing yourself and how to come back to yourself. And he's a master from about a century ago, and they actually made a movie about him. I want to recommend it to everyone. Some of you may actually have seen it. It's called Christopher Robin. The holy tzaddik, Christopher Robin. The book or the movie is about Chris. How many of you know who Christopher Robin is? Winnie the Pooh and I walk alone, right? Christopher Robin, as a child, this is what the movie is about. As a child, he becomes friends with everybody. With Pooh, with Eeyore, why bother? Little Piglet, with my personal favorite, Tigger! T-I-double-G-R. And he becomes friends with all his friends in the woods. And then he's going to move, and he says, I'll never forget you, Pooh. And guess what happens? He grows up. He gets married, he has a kid. And guess who he forgets about? And they come and they find him and they bring him back because they need his help back in the wood. And then they realize he needs their help even more. And so they remind him of what's really important. And it's not about making sure that he pays the mortgage as much as it is that he pays attention to his child. This is Rosh Hashanah. Everyone here is here for a reason, every one of us. But do you remember what the reason was at one point in your life? It was because, wow, I want to know God. Do you remember when you were younger? When we said, you know what, I want to change the world. I want to do good in the world. I want to have fun. I want to drive a Maserati. That's fine. I know a young man on his bar mitzvah wanted it. And that was okay for them. But then it became because I want to be able to share goodness. I want to have fun. I want to have love in my life. I want to meet that boy, that girl. Oh, it's 16. Do you want to meet the right person, right? And we forgot. And everyone here has at the depths of your heart, because we're all Jewish souls, we're all good in Neshama. And we all have a desire to do good, whether you're aware of it anymore or not. Are you doing the good in the world? You became a real estate developer or a stockbroker, an attorney, schmuck salesman, whatever it may be, that you could give love to your family so you could make the world better, so you could at least make it better for your wife, your child, yourself. And are you? Are you? Are each of us? Rosh Hashanah is that time. It's a new year. It's a time to say, you know what? I'm going to remember what I'm really here for. I'm going to do what I'm really here for. The Tikkun Olam, the piece of repairing the world that only I can do. God gave me a purpose, a path when I came here, when I was born in this world. And God is just waiting for me to come home. To do what I am here to do. God will always be there to welcome us. You know, Goethe says that until one is committed, there's always hesitancy. But once you open that door, God will push it open. Providence, he says, will bring you blessings. The person who wanted to be a musician, so he decided he was going to be a CPA until he could afford to be a musician. Now, 60 years old, has forgotten how to play the instrument and needs to relearn. We all know people like that or are like that at different times, right? Yes? Rosh Hashanah is the time to say, I'm recommitting myself. It doesn't matter all the glory, prestige, power, because you know what? I got into doing this for a different reason. I'm going to go back to who I really am. I'm going to make a commitment and live it. I'm going to commit myself to doing what I choose to do. I'm going to commit myself to the good I dreamed of doing. I'm going to commit myself to being Tigger, to being Pooh, to the magic of a child, the wonder, the joy of life, to not being jaded anymore. It's certainly interesting. At a certain point in time, we get so old, we get a little jaded, don't we? At least sometimes, hopefully not too often. Rosh Hashanah is the time to say that from now on, that's not going to happen anymore. From now on, I'm going to actually step out. I'm going to be who I'm supposed to be. I'm going to live it. For me and for the world. And for who. I'm not going to get lost in the mirror. I'm going to look through the window and let God's light shine out and my light shine out. This is the essence of Rosh Hashanah. To recommit ourselves to why we are here on this planet. Why are we here with our family? Why are we here with the world? What good can we do? How much more good can we do? Can we leave it better than it is? The dreams that we had of Pooh, can we embrace them again? This is the question. It's actually why Rosh Hashanah is a much more scary and difficult day than Yom Kippur. This is the day to make a commitment, a choice. So the question I ask everyone to ask on this Rosh Hashanah is, are you willing to make a choice? To recommit yourself to the values that are really in the very, very, very depth of your soul. I cheat. Because I know what all your values are, the depths of your soul. Because you're all Jewish souls. The depths of your soul are to support Israel, to support Judaism, to live an ethical life. You really go down to the very, very depths. To do good. To walk humbly with God. That's the essence of the Jewish soul. So can we get back to our priorities, to taking care of our children, our values, and can we live them? This is the question I ask each of you. To really look at yourself. You can look in the mirror, but make sure you can look through and you can be seen. This is not a Dvar Torah about giving you an answer. This is a Dvar Torah about giving you a challenge. Can you step up to be you? Rabbi Zusia used to say that when I go to heaven, they're not going to ask me, why was I not like more like Father Abraham or Father Isaac? But they're going to ask me, why was I not more like Zusia? My challenge and my prayer for all of us in this room, every one of us, myself included, this is an us thing, it's not a you thing. My prayer and my challenge for all of us is that we are willing to be the spiritual warriors, the spiritual healers, the souls that we really are, to do the good that we are here to do, to find our tikkun, find what are we really here for, to remember our Pooh, our dreams, our values, and to make them happen in this world, in our time, and in doing so, to make the world truly a beautiful, beautiful place that is filled with the sweetness of a new year of apples and, of course, of honey. Shana Tova.
Saw the sun begin to dim, and felt that winter wind blow cold. A man learns who is there for him when the glitter fades and the walls won't hold. 'Cause from that rubble, what remains can only be what's true. If all is lost, there's more I gain, 'cause it led me back to you. From now on, these eyes will not be blinded by the lights. From now on, what's waited till tomorrow starts tonight. Tonight, let this promise in me start, like an anthem in my heart. From now on, from now on, I drink champagne with kings and queens. The politicians praise my name, but those were someone else's dreams. The pitfalls of the man I became. For years and years, I chased their cheers, a crazy speed of always needing more. But when I stop and see you here, I remember who all this was for. From now on, these eyes will not be blinded by the lights. From now on, what's waited till tomorrow starts tonight. It starts tonight. Let this promise in me start, like an anthem in my heart. From now on, from now on, and we will come back home, and we will come back home, home again. And we will come back home, and we will come back home, home again. And we will come back home, and we will come back home, home again. And we will come back home, and we will come back home, home again. I can't hear you. And we will come back home, and we will come back home, home again. And we will come back home, and we will come back home, home again. From now on, these eyes will not be blinded by the lights. From now on, what's waited till tomorrow starts tonight. It starts tonight. Let this promise in me start, like an anthem in my heart. From now on, from now on, from now on. And we will come back home, and we will come back home,